estate behind him, and he's wearing like a really nice suit and all this kind of stuff. But the one photo that I really liked from the whole day was this one, where it was before we actually started shooting. And he said, "Oh well, you know, I just got to go down and feed my horses. You know, come with me." And my assistant and you know, all the equipment stayed in the car, and I jumped in his. He actually has this huge golf cart that holds like 12 people or whatever. So we driving down the hill, and the only camera I had with me was a little point and shoot, you know, $100 piece of crap. You know, that's what and I didn't realize we were going this far. Otherwise, I would have brought a lot of cameras and whatever. But this one, there's just something about this photo where he's feeding his horses, and it's really kind of somber and kind of elegant in a way. And all the other photos the magazine loved, they didn't go anywhere near this one. But this is my favorite photo from that, and I've, you know, showed this a number of times, and it's been published in a couple of magazines and that sort of thing. But the point being, you've got this guy who's a performer on some level. He knows, you know, on some level, if you're a professional athlete, you've got, you know, the professional athletes play sports for a lot of money, but they make a lot more money off sponsorship deals. So if you know, maybe they're making I don't know, $20 million to play basketball, but they can easily make another $100 million being a sponsor for Nike or whatever else. So they're all playing the game, and this photo I like because it was not him playing the game. It was just sort of him hanging around, a little bit of his life and that sort of thing. And so people, when you're taking pictures of people, I mean, you must have noticed, anytime anybody pulls out a camera at Thanksgiving or whatever, you know, some people, well, I don't want my picture taken. You know, you yourself, I don't know, you know, some of you probably jump in there and want to get your picture taken. Some of you kind of like groan, like, oh God, let's get this over with so we can eat. And you know, sports celebrities and you know, everybody has the same thing. As Danielle pointed out, I photographed Uma Thurman, photographed her 3 times. And it depends on the context, what she's like, what she had for lunch, where we are, that kind of stuff. And some people recognize that having your picture taken is a necessity in a certain context, but then one time she broke down in tears and didn't want to have any pictures taken anymore. That's enough, I've had enough. And so it really depends on context and what they had for lunch. You know.
What's the most challenging shoot you've been on?
The most challenging. I've been pretty fortunate in that I haven't had any real serious disasters. You know, I've had things go wrong, certainly technically on a shoot. I was on a shoot where I had 3 cameras, and 2 of them decided not to work that day. I mean, a lot of things happen in terms of, technically, I've gotten to the point where I've been doing this long enough, I never go anywhere without a backup for absolutely everything. I mean, it's, with the exception of just my walk from the studio up to home where I just carry a little point and shoot, if I'm going on a shoot, I've got 3 cameras, 4 lenses, every single little cord or anything you need, there's 2 of. Just because so many things go wrong, especially with digital cameras. They're like computers, they crash now occasionally, that sort of stuff.
Can we look at the Holga shots?
Sure, yeah. But actually, David's come up with a very good point. That is not to say you need all that. There is an argument to be said for low-tech photography, certainly. What David's referring to is these photos here, this next little grouping. These are all shot on a camera that's made in China. It's a piece of junk can cost $20. They're about as low tech as you can get. Now, granted, I have modified the holders a little bit so they kind of do a little more of what I'm interested in. But these are kind of a general idea. I mean, you can see the point being you don't need like one of my cameras, one of my Canons is, the camera alone is like $7,000, and you put a lens on it, which is another $1,500. It's absurd. It's ridiculous what stuff costs. But you don't need it. You can take a very interesting, kind of beautiful picture with a $25 camera, if that's the kind of pictures you're trying to take. This was not a Holga shot. This was actually shot on one of those little $25 spit out the picture instant Polaroids. Sorry, you had a question I never answered.
No, that's fine. I was going to ask because I was wondering if you were shooting on film because it's grainier than actual digital.
Some of what you were looking at here, it's a good thing you brought that up. Some of all the black and white bike fleet was on film.
On film.
All the color bike fleet was digital. The drag queens was all digital. The one leg up, the erotic party stuff, some of it's film, some of it's digital, because we've been doing it for a while.
What speed are you shooting?
In both digital and film. For that stuff, typically shooting about 800 ISO. There was a little bit of black and white. There's a really nice Kodak black and white, which is a 3200 ISO film. Very grainy, but you can actually shoot in the dark with it. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
This is, as I said, a Polaroid, so it's a little fuzzy. Those Polaroids are always a little bit, the quality is not so great, but it doesn't really matter. This is, anytime I'm using black and white film, with the exception of that 3200 ISO film, I'm using Tri-X, Kodak Tri-X, which is a 400 ISO film, but honestly, it's a 200 ISO film. Anytime you're shooting it, you really should shoot it at 200. Same thing here, these are all Tri-X. This is Tri-X. Anytime you see color like this, that's added in the darkroom.
Yeah,
this is
that's what I was going to ask you,
split
if you're
toning.
manipulating your colors at all.
I didn't do too much of that when I was shooting film. A little bit. For instance, these they're just printed on a warm tone paper, not a sepia paper, but like an agfa paper or something.
But are you shooting a fisheye on that?
No, the Holga camera comes with it uses 120 film, which is a 6 by 6 centimeter negative square, and the normal normal lens for a 6 by 6 is an 80 millimeter. It actually the Holga comes with a 60, which is a little bit wide, but I have added an auxiliary lens. It's like a video lens, like a 0.5 converter. So it takes a 60 and makes it a 30. So it's not fisheye, but it's wider. So and you also start getting issues like the vignetting and that sort of thing. Part of that comes right out of the box Holga. You get a little bit of that, but with the fisheye, you certainly get with the 30, you get that. And you also get, you see up here where it's like really blurry, you lose sharpness. So on the out of the box Holga, you'll get a picture about like this. So it'll still be pretty sharp. With my adapter.